Hello and welcome. Today we are going to be doing a OBS tutorial for a gaming PC. Now, it's really important to know that this is for a one PC setup. If you are using two PCs, one dedicated streaming and one being your gaming PC, this tutorial is not for you. Alright, so let's go ahead and step right into it. Now, if you have an OBS icon or anything, or if you have it on Strapbar, or if you just simply type in OBS in search, you'll want to run it as administrator. What that does is the system prioritizes the application, so it does not prioritize any applications other than OBS, so there's no fluctuation within bitrate or performance. Now, let's go ahead and step right into the settings here. Go ahead and shrink this down just a bit. So the general settings by default are pretty good. I do not recommend changing any of them if you do not know what you're doing. You can go ahead and read through them and see if there's any settings that you would like to do. If you have no understanding of what they are, leave them as it is. Alright, so for streaming, what you want to do is you'll select the services. Now, I use Twitch, so I have Twitch set up. And if you are streaming on Twitch, it'll ask you to connect your Twitch account, or it'll be asking for a stream key. How do I get my stream key? Give me one moment here and I'll show you. Go to twitch.tv. Okay. On twitch.tv, you'll click on your profile picture right there and you'll go to settings. And from there, you'll go to channel and videos and it'll say primary stream key. All you'll do is select copy and you'll post it in the settings here. All right, let's go to output. Now for streaming, the bitrate, you're streaming at 720p. I do recommend going to 2900. You shouldn't have to go any above that. If you're streaming and 1080p, 3200 is just fine. Now for the encoder, go ahead and explain what these are. Software X264, that uses your processor. Do not recommend using this if you're on a one PC setup because it will use your CPU for the video encoding. If it's using the CPU for the video encoding, it will cause it to overload because your PC is already going to be using the CPU for your gaming, your Discord, your browser, your overlays, everything. So it's just going to be too overwhelming for the CPU. So what you'll want to do is you'll want to select the hardware in relation to the type of GPU that you have. I have AMD, so I select the hardware AMD. If you have a NVIDIA graphics card, you will see NVENC, and you want to select that. I do recommend, if you're watching this video before you are building a PC, I recommend getting a NVIDIA graphics card because NVIDIA has technology where they made the encoders have dedicated encoders for streaming. So they have one of the best encoders for streaming. So I do recommend getting an NVIDIA. So from there, the audio bitrate by default is 128. Unless if you're uploading some crazy quality music, you shouldn't have to go any higher than that. Same thing goes for the recording. You'll want to select right here where you want your recordings to go, of course. And for the encoder, you also want to select your GPU. That'll just make sure that the videos come out very smooth and the video itself doesn't have any drop frames. Alright, for the video, the base canvas resolution, this is your resolution that you're seeing. So you want to select whether it's 1080p or 1440p resolution, assuming that you don't have anything lower than that. Now for the output scaling, this is what you are going to be either recording or what you're going to be streaming. So If you go to 1080p, you're going to be streaming 1080p. Now, I do recommend going to 720p just because on Twitch or other platforms, all the viewers won't have the most perfect internet connection. So they'll want to watch it at a lower resolution sometimes, just so they're not having any lag while they're watching you. If you're a new viewer, the Twitch or YouTube servers, actually I can't speak for YouTube, I can only speak for Twitch. The Twitch servers won't give you transcoding right away, so your viewers won't be able to adjust the resolution on their own. So for the convenience of your viewers, if you are new, I do recommend streaming on 720. Now, if you do want to go to 1080p and you're not sure if your GPU can handle it, I do recommend pulling up your task manager, going to performance, selecting your GPU, taking a look at this video encoder. This video encoder will tell you whether or not if your GPU can handle going to 1080p. So do troubleshooting yourself and see what the percentage is at. Typically, mine is at 35%, and that's a pretty comfortable thing for me when I'm streaming at 720p, but since I'm recording at 1080p, it is going a little higher. So do that, troubleshoot yourself, see what you can handle. Now for the downscale filter, I do recommend using Bicubic, just because if you are having a canvas of 1440p and you're going down to a 720p resolution, you will start to blur if you're using the lowest downscaling, because it uses less samples, so it will start to blur just because of the big jump. So this is what is going to lock the frames per second. If you are having a bit of performance issues, I do recommend using the 48 FPS setting, but if you do want the best quality that you can get, set to 60, just because it will output that video to 60 frames per second as well. All right, so let's go to advanced. Now this is real important right here. The process priority, you want it set as high. What that does is same thing as if you're running as administrator. You want to do both, of course, run as administrator and also have this process priority set as high. What that's going to do is the system's going to prioritize OBS for CPU usage and also network usage, so you're not fluctuating on your bitrate. Now for the video, as default, these typically have the best settings that you're gonna get. I do not recommend changing any of them. If you are changing them, it's because you have some extra hardware or software that you're wanting to use, and I'm sure you can find another tutorial video for that specific option that you're wanting to do. Okay, so let's go ahead and go to the sources. If you're wanting to just display your whole entire screen, so anything you're seeing on your primary monitor, you want to select display capture. All right, and now display your entire screen. And now we have a bit of warm. Ooh. All right, we're gonna go ahead and remove that just for this video, but that's exactly how you do that there. Now, if you are having a bit of performance issues while doing display capture and you're playing a really heavy FPS game, whether it's Apex, Fortnite, Skyrim, you'll want to do game capture. So the mode will capture any full screen application, but if you're wanting to do this specific application, you'll select capture specific window, and it will give you an option to select that application if you already have it open. All right, now for your audio. For your output audio, you'll want to select this, and it will start to output the audio of which that you're hearing. So you want to select whatever audio source that you're using. So if you're using a USB set, you want to select that if that's where you're hearing your audio. If you're hearing it out of speakers or screen, you want to select that. I'm hearing mine out of some headphones, so that's why I select these here. I don't know why it says speakers, but these are some headphones. All right, so that will make sure that your stream can hear whatever you're hearing. So it's very convenient if you're using Discord and you want your stream to be able to hear the shenanigans that's going on in Discord. So now for your audio input. So here, you'll want to make sure that you go to properties and make sure it is the device that you're using. I set default because I only have one microphone device on my computer, so by default it automatically uses the one that I have inputted. So do that before you select it in the sources. Go to add, go to audio input, and if it shows here, then select the mic / aux, or if you're not seeing that, create new. Creating new, same thing. Go ahead and select their default if you have one microphone, or if you have another one, you want to select the microphone that you're using there. And then from there, you'll also see it in this audio mixer. So if you're like, everyone's like, oh, you're way too loud, go ahead and take this bar and on down. All right, so those are going to be all the sources you're typically going to want to use, but just a little input there. If you are using overlays, and I use Streamlabs myself, if you have a link for that, you can go to the browser as an add. Go ahead and show that again. You go to add and you'll select browser. So what this will do is it will select a source. You'll type in your width and your height, of course, to the resolution that you're using, and you'll paste the link there. And what it'll do is it'll now display the overlay. Now I do recommend you could adjust. It's kind of like if you're using like a paint program or a Photoshop or a GIMP. You have the certain layers stacking on one another. You want to have your overlay to be at the very top, because you're using a game capture at the very top, it will actually hide your overlay. So you want to have your overlay at the very top just to make sure that it displays first or last, actually. First, I don't know, but you want to have it at the top. Now, if you're running like, oh, okay, how do I set up my stream elements? I do use stream elements myself. It's probably a tutorial for another thing, but you could go to streamelements.com, and there will be a Stream Elements OBS version that you can download. It'll also download OBS for the first time if that's what you're wanting to use. And so just a little input for that. If you are using Stream Elements, you could click on this tab here to set it in, whether it wants you to log into your Twitch or anything like that. All right, so that is it for this video. I do appreciate if you're watching this. If you did like the video, be sure to remember to like, subscribe, comment if you have any questions, or if you just simply want to let me know that you enjoyed the video. So that is it. If you have any questions, or if you thought I missed anything, be sure to leave that comment, and maybe I'll make another video, maybe a Stream Elements video. Anyways, thanks for watching.